Welcome back to the GG Report. Today we are talking about the hits and misses of the hustler narrative, and with me is Dennis, and Dennis has a big story. Before we went to the break, he was giving us a story about what he went through when he decided to vie for Nairobi Senator's position.
Yes.
And he asked the Lord for a sign, and the sign was supposed to be some trouble in his place of work.
Correct.
And he got
He
got a storm.
Serious trouble.
You got a storm.
Some serious trouble.
And that was able to extract you.
That was in 2014.
Very good.
And that extracted me. I was in a very high-paying job. A lot of luxuries and all that. Good command of a regional space.
Yes.
And so the Lord told me to quit because He was calling me both into ministry and into politics.
Very good.
And so I went to the mountains and I did my prayers. And the Lord spoke on the last day.
Yeah.
And I resigned. And when I resigned, He took me through very painful journey.
Yes.
A very painful journey. From 2014, He told me, register a security company.
Yes.
Which I registered.
Yes.
But the journey between 2014, 2015, 2016, by the time I vied, He was stripping me one thing after another that defined me.
Yes.
Any asset that I held,
Yes.
any money that I had,
Yes.
was taken away. Completely. Wow. I was in hospital for something that couldn't be seen for 3 months. My medical card had expired.
Right.
And that's a place that I was in that boat that Jonah was in. No, in fact, that was the belly of the fish.
Belly of the fish.
Because that's a place that I had very strong conversations with God.
Yes.
When people say they know God in different ways,
Yeah.
I approach Him with fear and trembling.
Yes.
When He says go,
Yes.
and I remember, I think it was the servant of God, Benny Hinn, when he said when the Lord called him, he stopped having soft conversations with him.
Yes.
Going is going.
Yes.
Not come back, perhaps, maybe.
Yes.
So that's the way I know. If God tells me go,
Yes.
even if I have my pajamas,
Yes.
or I'm wearing swimming trunks,
Yes.
you will see me running across town because I've been told to go.
Yes.
So I had a very painful journey. I was stripped off everything
Yes.
that gave me dignity in the world.
Yes.
He used to tell me, give this car there, give this there, give this there, give this there, everything.
Yes.
And I used to say, if God gives me a hotel like this, and He says, give it tomorrow,
Yes.
I am conditioned.
Yes.
I will let it go.
Yes.
So I was stripped of anything, any wealth, whatever it is.
Yeah.
When I was declaring to vie as a senator in Nairobi, because I started having conversations with him, I said, okay, fine, you want me in politics, and you want me as a clergy, it's okay. So politics, can I start maybe a country where people know me? He said, no.
Yeah.
I said, can I do this? He said, no. He said, I want you in the Jerusalem of politics.
Yes.
And that is Nairobi. So when I was declaring
Yes.
that I want to run as a senator in Nairobi,
Yeah.
in my pocket,
Yes.
between me and everything else,
Yes.
I had 50 shillings.
Whoa.
And when people looked at me like this,
Yes.
they saw wealth, they were saying, my God, you spend millions. You 20 millions, because I looked like a 20 million guy. I didn't even have a car.
Yeah.
Because I had given politicians like vehicles.
Yes.
BMWs, Range Rovers. The Lord had commanded, give them away.
Yes.
And I said, you're asking me to give these things. What am I going to show? That I'm a politician. So I had a different worldview of what a politician is.
Yes.
And then He stripped me everything.
Yes.
The journey in hospital was painful. It was in fact, it was a death experience. That He resurrected me from there.
Yes.
Because one time I called my mom and said, I've given up. This thing, I can't take it anymore.
So you
didn't
die in hospital.
No.
But something died.
Something died.
Something died, but that was
Something died.
Yeah, something died. When you came out, you were a different person.
I was a different person. I knew when God sent me.
Yes.
I knew the secret place of the Almighty.
Yes.
And like a turtle,
Yeah.
I always walk inside that secret place. When I see battle, I retreat like a turtle retreats in the shell.
Yes.
But when I was declaring to vie for the Senate Nairobi, I had 50 bob.
Yes.
I had no donors. I had nothing. God told me,
Yeah.
I will teach you what my kind is like. Because
Yes.
everything gives birth to its kind.
Yes.
I will teach you how to walk in my knowledge, in my ways,
Yes.
and how to attain things
Yes.
by faith.
Good. Now, hold it there. I believe that, Dennis, you have a story. And when people talk about hustlers, because,
Yes.
you know, I mean, the real conversation is that hustlers, these hustlers, or rather the people on the ground in this country, in this city in particular, are seriously unrepresented. They are people without a voice. And do you count yourself, you know, do you believe that the preparation that God gave you, you know, kind of more or less prepared you to be able to say today, for example, that I think when people talk about hustlers, they don't know what they are talking about. I know what they are talking about. And that what does it really mean? What does it take to be a politician that really identifies with the people? What does that take? And what does that take?
First of all, this is a very profound conversation.
Yes.
And I'm glad that we definitely need to have this conversation as a national conversation on why hustlers and why dynasties.
Yes.
And I believe this is not a conversation that we need to politicize. It's not a conversation that we need to introduce anything that is frivolous.
Yeah.
It is not a conversation that we need to say, oh, this is a Ruto versus Uhuru conversation.
Yes.
This is a conversation that is the state of our nation.
Yes.
You can call it anything.
Yes.
You can call it Mambogi. You can call it anything.
You can call it Wanjiku revolution.
You can call it whatever it is that there is. You understand?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a problem in this country.
Yes.
And allow me to posit it. And this is with the way I ask, especially clergy.
Yeah.
And I always say,
Yeah.
if it was the church giving wheelbarrows
Yes.
and bicycles and saloon equipment,
Yes.
would that be okay? The answer I get usually is yes, it will be okay.
Yes.
You understand? And we need to ask ourselves is, number one, who is the church? Is the church an institution or a person? Number two, the poverty levels, what we call the poverty living index
Yes.
in Kenya,
Yeah.
is the worst of its peers in Eastern Central Africa inside a thriving economy. It's a conundrum. It's a confusion of sorts. That Kenya is regarded to be a tiger within its peers, but it has the poorest amongst them.
And you have seen them. You have
I
interacted
interact with them. I was
Every
with
day.
them over lunch hour for service.
Yes.
I'm going to be with them in the evening.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So this is something I have seen with my own eyes. When somebody tells you I am used to sleeping hungry,
Yes.
when you see my shape,
Yeah.
it is not like my body is Coca-Cola. This is conditioning without food at the end of the day.
Yes.
Now,
This
there is such grave poverty
Yes.
in this country.
Yeah.
But then the other thing that we need to ask ourselves
Yeah.
is that the nation is 80% Christian. Yet,
Yeah.
we're in a poor country. Every opportunity a politician would see, they will not leave it alone.
Yes.
There is a gap in this country that no one, including the church,
Yes.
has not addressed.
Yes.
And I'm being very honest as a clergy.
Yeah.
Because if 80% are Christians,
Yes.
then it means majority of the poor populace in this country are Christians.
Yes.
They are not Muslims or Indians
Yes.
because they have a socialist way of
Yes.
doing their businesses.
Yes.
They are Christians.
Yes.
Now, almost half of the populace in this country don't have access to food,
Yeah.
don't have access to Medicare, don't have access to proper housing. The Bill of Rights is something that is elusive or a fallacy to them.
It's a piece of paper for them.
You understand? So the truth is, there's a gap.
It is.
And this gap, somebody needs to speak about it.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to address it. And Dr. Ruto, based on his past, because it doesn't come, let's be honest, it doesn't come from the Kenyattas, neither does it come from the Odingas. Perhaps you might argue that the first Kenyatta was a dynasty.
Yes.
Was a hustler.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because he must have come from a poor background.
And his father
So
was,
the first Odinga also,
his father was Muigai.
was also poor.
Yeah, he was a poor man.
But we may not define the source of his sudden wealth here and there.
Yes.
And maybe it's a conversation that we can have another day.
Yes.
Because we are the talkers of the truth.
Yes.
Whether it offends or not, but the truth. The work of the truth is naturally to convict and to offend.
Yeah, but we have a disclaimer.
Yes.
You shall not talk ill of the ruler of the people. So there's a scriptural disclaimer that when we discuss, we have to have, some measure of honor to our leaders.
Yes.
So that then we don't attribute to them evil that we cannot prove on them. However,
yes,
it is clear that there are many things. You know, a lot of
correct
things. Leaders take by choosing to be a leader. You know, Dennis, you
yes,
if today you were the governor,
yes,
all the mess in Nairobi would be on
correct,
Dennis.
Correct.
The
Correct.
hungry families in Mathare.
Yes.
What is Dennis doing about it?
Absolutely.
You're driving a nice car, Dennis, and if somebody is hungry in Mathare,
yes,
would take it on you.
Yes.
So it's true. There is a truth in the leaders bear responsibility.
Correct.
For the evil and the dysfunctions
correct,
of society.
Correct.
But at the very individual level, it's very difficult to pin down someone and say, okay, so this is a transaction. So I don't think we can go there.
You know, the fact is that I have sat with men who have had institutional memory from independence. It's not a conversation I want to have it now. I have respect for the president.
Yeah.
And I have respect for people.
Yeah.
But there's something also called accountability.
Yes.
There's something called public participation.
Yes.
Anybody who has ever handled public finances
must
account to his own personal wealth.
Yes.
It's obvious. It has nothing to do with disrespect.
Yeah.
It's a virtue in democracy. And even, I believe, within the realms of the church.
Yeah.
But the current state of poverty in Kenya, it would be unfair to blame it purely on the political class.
Yeah.
And leave the church out of it.
That's a very, very serious charge. That's a very serious charge. In other words, you're saying the church has a responsibility, bears responsibility, given that, for example, we are talking about 80% are Christian.
Yes. 80%
have a tangible association. I mean, even if they don't all go to church,
yes,
but they draw. They are properly and clearly associated with the church.
Yes.
So the church bears responsibility.
Correct.
So, so you would like to maybe argue then that as we talk about the hustlers, narrative, and maybe criticize it, from a political point of view.
Correct.
Feel like, look, why are you talking about hustlers, and why are you pitting some people as hustler, selling hustler ideology versus, of course, the dynasty? Why not, look the other way and maybe say, look, these guys have a responsibility on this side, and these other people have a responsibility on this side. But now you're bringing the church into that.
Yes.
Tell us about the responsibility of the church in that narrative.
The truth is, and we have many records, we have a lot of information that can be accessed.
Yes.
We have the Afrobarometer, we have the World Bank, which has contributed to the overtaxation that we have in this country.
Yes.
And that's the reason why I say that I'm a strong nationalist, that we need to have homegrown policies.
Yes.
And the over-borrowing in this country. We're in many problems that we can't even sit and narrate them today.
Yeah.
But I believe that the church is the strongest watchdog of its people.
Yes.
Then when you see, the Bible is clear that Jesus was moving doing his work.
Yeah.
and he saw people who are ravaged.
Yes.
And the reason why they were ravaged is because they had no shepherd.
Actually, you read.
So,
sorry for interrupting you. I think the scripture you read was Luke. I mean, was it Luke chapter 4, verse 18?
Yes.
The Spirit of the Lord is
Correct.
upon me.
Yes.
And of course, you also said you are Jonah. So
Yes.
that's very interesting.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely important.
Yeah.
That we need to ask ourselves, how do we address the poverty issue in this country?
Yes.
Rather than beating down the hustler narrative.
Yes.
In fact, it's an opportunity for the church to join in.
Yes.
And give equipment to its own poor.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Instead of arguing against a deed that is good,
yes.
whether it's benefiting him politically or not, he's a politician.
Yes.
You understand? His work is to get votes.
Right.
And make policies.
And if
he is doing,
can translate to one vote,
yeah,
so be it.
He is doing what leaders are supposed to be doing.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But he has seen a gap that is being addressed. And I usually ask myself, if today the church would be able to give a wheelbarrow,
yes,
would be able to give something,
tank.
salon equipment, water tank,
yes.
Yes. Even cocotenis, even car washing machines.
Yes.
If they'll be able to give that every Sunday,
yes,
that gap is closed.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
you're
But the
right.
truth is,
yes,
we must get to a position where the church, and sometimes you see what it is that we call the structural success of the church.
Yeah.
Because arguably,
yeah,
60% of the schools in the country are assets by the church.
Yes.
But 50% of the hospitals in this country, the church also may own financial institutions and all that.
Yes.
The church in this country is not poor.
There's
a segment of maybe perhaps the new emerging evangelical movements that may not be as resourced as others.
Yes.
But technically, they've never worked as a body.
Yeah.
But you have a wealthy church.
Yes. Which
with
cannot
poverty.
which cannot say silver and gold have we none.
Have we none? They have. So the truth is,
yes.
we must be truthful.
Yes.
That there is a serious wealth disparity.
Yes.
In this country.
Yes.
Has it been caused by the church? Has church been the reason? Perhaps not.
Yeah.
Perhaps the church has sat back
yes.
for a long time and allowed politicians to create that gap from a policy level, from the very fact that there is no strong aspect on equity.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
The church has not been advocate of its own people.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
The church has worked towards improving its seating capacity, but it has not generally looked at the welfare of its people. You understand? Sometimes even from a policy and a governance perspective, you need to ask the church, do you know what is Big Four?
Yeah.
Do you agree to the Big Four?
Yeah.
You understand? Do you know why the government is borrowing? You understand? When you go to the king, do you rebuke him? What do you tell him?
Yes.
Or you just basically go and eat nyama choma and go there. So the role of the church as a watchdog, has it succeeded, or has the church failed as a watchdog? And now the people are ravaged without a shepherd in a nation with shepherds.
The church, I'm taking the statement you said, the church has not been a true advocate of its own people.
Correct.
That's a very, very powerful thing. Oh, this Dennis is he's a man on fire.
Yes, sir.
A man on fire. And
Amen.
I believe, Dennis, you have a place. You have a role to play. You have tested politics.
Yes.
You have thrown in your heart into it.
Correct.
As it were, you have experienced the pain of what it means to step in and offer a political solution.
Correct.
I mean, it's a tough thing. It's very, very competitive, and you've thrown in there. So I'm sure there are lessons you've learned. You know, there are people out there. We keep telling people, you know, church, you guys must go into politics. Here, we are. Dennis, I think you have a very, very huge opportunity, and I think this today's show, there are people who are listening, and they have a vision. They have always, maybe I should try. And I know there are people who are trying. There are church elders that are trying, MCAs, in a small scale. There are people who have tried small scale, people who have tried the medium scale, and people who have gone for Senate seat like yourself.
Yes.
I had a chat with someone who tried the presidency.
Wow.
He didn't, finally, he kind of like, decided, no, let me just give it a break. But he was very, very serious. I had a conversation with him. So tell us,
yes,
what's your message to people out there, believers with a vision, with a heart, with education, with ideas? What is your message to them who wants to go into politics?
What's your truth to power?
Yes.
Integrity is simple. Is the ability to stand against the strong man in the nation,
yeah,
and call them out on their excesses.
Yes.
When the president is veering off,
yeah,
the church must call him out.
Yes.
When parliament is veering off,
yes,
the church must call it out.
Yes.
When the Senate is veering off, the church must call it out. When the coherence of the judiciary is being adulterated, the church must speak. The church is the only authentic watchdog, because that's a work of a shepherd,
yes,
at the end of the day.
Yes.
But when the shepherd is quiet, when the shepherd is absent,
yes,
the country will be ravaged.
That's true.
So you're not coming as somebody who has been called by the Spirit of God, that the Spirit of God is upon you,
yes,
to preach this good news.
Yes.
You're not coming here for a salary.
Yeah.
You're coming here to combat that which is not in agreement,
yes,
to the Spirit,
yes,
of God.
Yes.
And that is basically evil. Any government that is not overseen by the church,
yeah,
then what it is that you're going to do is that you're going to leave the people, the masses, naked, without any cover whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to know that these politicians,
yeah,
always come and speak upon altars.
Yeah.
When
yeah,
they're looking for votes, they know,
yeah,
that they cannot acquire votes without,
yes,
the church.
Yes.
They know that very well. But then what does the church do? When the man leaves, you understand?
Yeah.
You don't even ask him any questions.
Yes.
You don't get him to sign any decrees in your church promising
Yes.
to deliver certain things.
Yes.
There is no pact,
yes,
whatsoever, that these are the policies that you promised us that you will deliver.
Yeah.
We shall hold you accountable to this.
Yes.
They don't even call the leadership.
yeah,
They don't call out the leadership.
Call the midterm.
Let me tell you what, it is not disrespect.
yes,
We know,
yeah,
when the president is off,
yes,
and we are telling him that path will lead the nation into destruction, deceased, because God is against that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you
Yes.
understand?
Yeah.
We know when parliament is being dictatorial,
Yes.
when all they do is sit and increase their own salaries,
yes,
and overtax us. At the end of the day, we know when the office of the Attorney General is trying to overstep and refuse to register churches and try and regulate the churches.
Yeah.
We know when one arm of the government, when the executive is trying to be the senior in the three arms of government, when it's not respecting the doctrine of the separation of powers,
Yeah.
yet we keep quiet. The word of God says, do not be in agreement to that which is of darkness. Instead,
Yeah.
expose it. Are we exposing darkness at the end of the day? Or are we compromising? Have we left this nation naked, that the sheep are being ravaged
Yes.
without a shepherd, in a nation that is full of shepherds? Is an error that we must. So let me say something.
yes,
The hustler narrative
Yes.
is simple.
yeah,
There's poverty.
yeah,
Give them the tools of trade.
yes,
Of course, in exchange to political goodwill.
yes,
At the end of the day,
yes,
if the church would like to partner with the deputy president,
yeah,
why not? I would encourage them.
Yes.
Give wheelbarrows.
Yes.
Give every tool of trade. At the end of the day, don't let poor people come into your church and all you do is motivational speak that you make it. How do I make it when I don't have the means? At the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So give the people the means of production.
Yes.
When you see something good that the president is doing, agree with him. When you see that there's something good that the deputy president is doing, agree with him, because at the end of the day, anything good
yeah,
even if the intent is political,
Yes.
will ultimately lead to the reduction of poverty and prosperity.
So you actually basically saying that the church must pay attention.
it must pay attention.
It must be, it must be paying attention to what's going on.
Correct.
And one way that the church can actually be part of the conversation is partnership.
Correct.
Do you believe that the church should partner with politicians, while at the same time, of course, demanding accountability
yes.
on their part?
Correct.
And then perhaps the other thing is that the church can offer the platform through which now, if someone has a political vision,
correct,
to reach to the hustlers, you are very much in touch with the hustling populace. So if somebody is keen, I mean, you have access. The church can provide access
correct,
to politicians.
yes.
So there is a way that this narrative can be designed in such a way that both the politician and the church work in partnership.
Correct.
Towards
Absolutely.
actually bridging the gap.
Absolutely. I strongly agree
Yeah.
to that narrative that
Yes.
projects should not just be projects by government,
Yes.
for government.
Yes.
I believe that there's an opportunity for the church to collaborate
Yes.
and draw teamwork
Yes.
into it, to push the government to build stadiums, to push the governments to do more water projects,
Yes.
to push the government to make healthcare affordable, to push the government to make the Bill of Rights, implementable.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because
Yeah.
the problem with this country is that we have a good constitution, we have good ideas,
Yeah.
but the implementation of it left to the politician.
Yeah.
Any liberation, you can take Pharaoh as an example. Any liberation of the people
Yes.
is never good
Yes.
for an autocratic ruler. So I believe that the church has an opportunity to collaborate on projects, so that the projects do not just perhaps become of something that is of a self-gain or personal gain to a politician, that the goodwill is prorated amongst all people.
To serve the people.
Yes.
There you are.
To the
So-
glory of God. the
and
Father.
glory of God the Father. Wonderful. It was absolutely amazing
Amen.
speaking to you, Dennis.
Thank you, sir.
And knowing that you have, had gone through so much.
Correct, yes.
To come to the place where you are. It's been a joy having you on this show.
Absolutely.
And I look
Thank you,
forward
sir.
to having this kind of conversation with you.
I
and
truly
then
appreciate
we can take the church forward and the people of God and raise the standard in this nation.
Amen.
Thank you so
Amen.
much.
Thank
That's
you so
all we had for you on the Gigi Report. Welcome to another episode sometime in the future, and God bless you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.